Okay, this is a discussion that's been going on in the comments of my recent chapter review on Selene and why she wanted to become human or just to defeat and end the age of dragons. Well, it's a few factors. One thing, the obvious, is Mashima just did a mid-series retcon, just altering his perception for what Selene should be for the future of the story, potentially because he didn't see anyone beating Selene at this point in the story when she was introduced. But let's get into in-lore reasons based off of how Selene has acted since her introduction. Now, first off, her becoming human and wanting to get rid of the dragons is most likely due to the fact that she's lived for such a long time. Her children are dead due to countless violence between the humans and the dragons. And let's just face it, dragons have kind of run a good chunk of the world into the ground with how they tend to do things, especially with the war during the Dragon King's Festival, and they ended up creating the likes of Acnologia and the Dragon Guns and all that stuff going on. Now, her choosing to essentially fully go forward with the idea to want to be human most likely occurred due to the fact that she met Suzaku. Suzaku had the power of one of her children, and thus she ended up wanting to take the fight seriously and basically avenge her children by taking out the person that actually killed them. When that was done, she basically got her revenge for her children, and so the only other thing that she could possibly do was just live out the rest of her life. But since she's a dragon, she is basically immortal. So she would literally need some way, shape, or form to become human so she can at least live out the rest of her days and just let things lie. Now, in terms of this comment, it was also brought up the fact, why doesn't Selene just go to an entirely different dimension? Well, the thing is, she tried. We all know that she was an Elentier, but her magic power was so immense that it literally was making that dimensional plane go over the cap of magical power that it needed, thus causing it to collapse. So that basically meant, okay, I can't live in this world, yada, yada, yada. And again, this probably goes back to the whole retcon thing. Either that, or initially, before meeting Suzaku, Selene did kind of have a death wish, to an extent, because if that dimension was destroyed, chances are she'd just let it end her. But again, we don't know if that is the true intention. Then there's also Edelus. Edelus has no magic. As we saw with Team Fairy Tail, once they entered Edelus, they could not have access to magic because in essence, there is no ether nano. Thus, with no ether nano, you can't have magic. And Selene, in her human form, she can only maintain that through magical power. Even if she does cast a spell, she does need magic power to maintain it regardless, even when relatively exhausted. So when she goes to Edelus without the portal that has a link between the world with immense magic and no magic, she basically would be stuck in her dragon form with no power. So her options for both realities were not good. So in reality, she just basically wants to live the rest of her days without much issue and get rid of the dragons that kind of ruined it for a lot of people.